gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's April the 12th, 2023. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined once again by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. As we sit here, T-minus about 60 hours or so and counting to the Miami spring game at Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. And Matt Shodell, we decided that we would get in the spirit of the spring game early. So many people are looking forward to it, us included. And we decided that forget this ones versus two format, the basic scrimmage that they've done year after year after year. We are going to go back to making teams, orange versus green. I took the orange, you took the green. I think that's the colors we picked. And we drafted our own teams. You were the commissioner of the draft, so I'm going to let you explain the ground rules. I just remember I got the first pick, and I took Tyler Van Dyke. Beyond that, this was the Matt Shodell production. So go ahead and explain it to everybody before we talk a little bit about it.
Well, I needed some extra money, so I said to Gary, I said, let's bet $1,000. I said, we're going to use NFL fantasy football rules, 10 yards, 1 point, touchdown, 6 points, et cetera, et cetera. And, as I expected, Gary drafted a horrible team. I drafted a really good team. So, you can pay up now. Listen, I'll let you pay $800 now as a discount just based on how bad your team is. Or you could wait until after the game and pay the $1,000. It's up to you. But basically, it was a snake draft. I let Gary pick first because he needs all the help he can get. I mean, just look at him. And, he went with offense early on. And being smart, I went with defense because there's absolutely no depth on defense. Like, I don't know if Gary does fantasy football or not, but I've been a commissioner of my fantasy football league for like way too many years. Probably since just after college, when it was $30 to join the league. With inflation, now it's up to $250 to join the league. And the first rule of drafting is if there's only one good defensive end, like take the defensive end. If there's 5 good receivers, you don't need to rush and take a receiver. If you think Jakari isn't that far behind Tyler Van Dyke, you don't need to rush to take Tyler Van Dyke. So true to form, Ferman takes Van Dyke and Xavier Restrepo with, I think, 2 of his first 3 picks or something like that. So I got I basically have a starting defense. Okay, I basically have the entire first team defense. I got Cam Kinchins and Markeith because James Williams is out. I got Darryl Porter and Devontae Brown, the 2 first team cornerbacks. Corey Couch I got as a starting nickel. I've got the starting defensive end, Akeem Messidor, because he's been practicing, so we're allowed to use him. And then I got the 2 transfer defensive tackles with Taylor and Taylor out and Harrison Hunt out, Double H out. They're probably the 2 starting defensive tackles. And then I also got Ruben Bain because he's probably the best up and coming defensive lineman. And the linebackers are terrible anyway, so I didn't care who I got. So basically, I had the entire first team defense. And then on offense, Don Chaney to me is, neck and neck with Henry Parrish. I got Jacoby George, who's been the surprise of the spring, along with Isaiah Horton. I got Ray Joseph, who I think is probably going to be the best long ball receiver on the team. Brashard's fine. I got Jaleel Skinner, who I think, certainly can be a bigger impact than Cam McLaughlin in the passing game. And then I got starting linemen, Francis Mauigoa, Nez Cooper, and Matt Lee. So basically, I have the entire starting team. And Gary, you're left with, I don't know, the Pee Wee team from.
I got plenty. Don't worry about Gary. I got plenty.
You got the Cooper City Pee Wee team. Just walk around the corner. That's what you got.
First of all, it's not Cam McLaughlin. Okay, his name is. Cam
that's Cam McLaughlin. He's gonna play like Mike McLaughlin. Okay, because he's an offensive lineman. It doesn't matter.
Listen, okay, we're gonna kick your butt. Okay, I got TVD, okay, playing quarterback, head and shoulders above the other 2 guys. I felt so sorry for you that you didn't get TVD that I even told you, you know what, Matt? Let Jakari Brown and Emory Williams, let them be your split quarterback. You can have both of them share the quarterback position because even together, they are not matching TVD.
let me tell you something. You have two. Okay, this is all that I need to say. You have one guy who tried to retire and they begged him to come back, Jacob Lichtenstein. And another guy who tried to leave and had nowhere to go, so he came back to be a backup, Brian Bell. Those are your two starters on defense. Good luck.
Doesn't matter. I got the two best linebackers on the team for starters, but I'm going to get to my defense in a minute if you just let me brag here for a moment. Okay, so I figure, okay, I take TBD. I got to load them up with playmakers. I got Henry Parrish at running back, the receivers, Xavier Restrepo, Colby Young, and Isaiah Horton, who's been one of the surprises of spring practice. And I've got the veteran tight end, Cam McCormick. I have surrounded TBD with firepower, and he is going to light it up, baby, I can assure you. I hope Mario's watching the show.
Yeah. You got Ryan Rodriguez. You got Ryan Rodriguez and Logan Sagapolo protecting him.
I'll get to the O-line in a minute. But I'm hoping Mario's watching this show because I'm hoping he says, man, Ferman and Shodell, they hit it out of the park with this draft, and we're going to use these teams on Friday night at Drive Pink Stadium. I would love to see that because TVD with these guys in his arsenal.
Hey, first of all, it's pronounced Derv Pink. It's pronounced Derv Pink. I don't know why you're saying Drive Pink.
It's Derv Pink?
It's Derv Pink. It's DRVPNK. That's Derv Pink.
I don't know. I just don't want to see anybody wearing pink out there on Friday night, okay? This is wearing Canes colors. The Canes are taking over the Pink Stadium on Friday night. All right, so you're trying to...
It is Drive Pink. I was trying to trick you. It is Drive Pink. I was just trying to be funny, but apparently you believe me that it's Derv Pink.
Well, I don't know, and I don't care, okay? Right. Like, I don't go there for the soccer games, and I don't really care who the sponsor is and why. Like, what is Drive Pink? Do you have any idea what Drive Pink even is?
No. Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah, look it up while I'm sitting here bragging about my team even more. All right. So my O-line, I got Jalen Rivers and Javion Cohen on the left side. That's the starting duo from the left side of the line of scrimmage. They've been playing lights out in spring practice. I feel real good about that. I'm not going to tell you I'm all that overwhelmed with my Ryan Rodriguez pick at center because, obviously I would have wanted Matt Lee there. And this is really a team that isn't real solid at backup center. Not real solid anywhere other than at left tackle with Santola. I get to play left or right tackle. That is about the only backup at the offensive line position I would personally feel comfortable putting in a game. So they're going to come out of spring with 6 offensive linemen, maybe 7 if you count Zion Nelson coming back off injury. And that's not a great situation. They're going to be holding their breath. I personally would go hard and look very hard at the transfer portal next week when that cranks up again and try to find me another 1 or 2 offensive linemen that can help me this year. That's just me putting my GM hat on because it was really hard to draft on the offensive line once Matt stole Matt Lee. But I ended up taking Ryan Rodriguez, and I got Logan Sagapolu at right guard, and then I'm thrilled to death with Samson Okunola as my right tackle. So I feel phenomenal about this offense that I was able to draft. And I think if Mario will just adapt our format and our teams, I think that this group would light it up out there on Friday night. We'll see what happens. I really hope Mario is watching right now. Now, defensively, I let Matt get a little bit of a jump on defense, okay? But I shocked them because I took Nigel E. Kelly. And remember that guys that are on the injured list were not eligible for our draft. They had to be actively practicing and actively going to play in the spring game on Friday night for us to draft them. I love my pick of Nigel E. Kelly at defensive end. Chance Williams as my other defensive end is the guy that has played some football and shown he can do some things. Now, the whole tackle position with no Harrison Hunt and no Leonard Taylor practicing this spring is in a little bit of a quandary. And that's another spot that I hope they hit hard in the portal starting next week. If they could find 1 or 2 guys to supplement, because I don't think they're good enough on the backup O-line. I don't think they're good enough at defensive tackle going into the season. So we'll see what happens there. But I got Jacob Lichtenstein and Ahmad Moten, a couple serviceable guys. Lichtenstein's played a ton of college football. But no, it's not a earth-shattering, earth-moving starting lineup at defensive tackle. But at linebackers, man, I am feeling good. I got Francisco Maigoa, who will be the best linebacker on the team this year. There's no doubt in my mind. And I picked up Wesley Bissainthe to play on the outside, a guy that really should be ready to bust out here this next season. Now, Matt inarguably got the best of the defensive backs while I was loading up on offense. I had to give up something to get all those good players on the offensive side of the ball, but I still, at cornerback, was able to land Chris Graves, who's a young guy who's having a very good spring, showing a lot of potential, and Terry Roberts, who's a veteran, came in the transfer portal from Iowa, has played a lot of college football. So even though I didn't get to Corey Couch, I didn't get Devontae Brown, I feel okay with Roberts and Graves as my corners. And then at safety, I couldn't get Cam Kinchins or James Williams, so I took Caleb Spencer, who's a true freshman that looks like a grown man, and we haven't seen him do a ton of live hitting and action yet, so I'm not going to get too crazy, but he looks the part out there on the practice field. And then I took a guy that I wanted to reward for his loyalty because he was going to go to the transfer portal. He ended up staying and coming back. I've met his father a few times. I love their mindset. I love the fact that they're not quitting, even though he's going to, I believe, his fourth year as a Miami Hurricane, and he has yet to crack the lineup. But Brian Ballum is going to be my other safety, and I'm damn excited about it, Matt Shodell. And I think that if we could just get Mario to incorporate these teams on Friday night, I will kick your ass.
Well, as it turns out, I'm a horrible person because I made fun of the name of a cancer charity. It's Drive Pink. It's not Durpunk, and it's a cancer charity. Can we just delete the whole show before I get, on national talk shows talking about how these horrible people on this Good Morning CaneSport show were making fun of the name of a charity, which, I didn't know that's what it was. I apologize. I have people in my family who've died of cancer, not my immediate family, my grandmother and my, some other people in the extended family have had cancer and survived it. So I don't know if that excuses me making fun of the name. I didn't know. So, Drive Pink.
That's a tough one to live down. I'm not even going to pile on. I mean, you were humble about it.
I own it. I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, you owned it.
I'm a terrible person. Although I knew that even before I made fun of a cancer charity's name. I already knew I was a horrible person, but now it's just out there for everybody to see. So
normally I'd be pouncing like a tiger, man. But I'm gonna let this one go just because of how well you handled it and how humble you were about the mistake that you clearly made, and hopefully won't make again. Because
I cover football. I don't cover cancer charities. I had no idea. I probably should have guessed. The pink, is a symbol of charities.
Symbol of breast cancer.
Yeah. So I probably should have made that connection, but I'm not very smart, as everybody who's been watching the show already knows. So
not your traditional.
Probably no surprise. Probably no surprise to anybody watching the show that I've once again made a horrible fool of myself, and I'm an idiot.
Glad to hear you say it for once. You're saving me the words. So anyway, we had fun with this. Check it out. See maybe if you agree with our draft, Stone, how you might have drafted a team. And we've got 2 days to get Mario to incorporate this for the spring game on Friday night. And we'll be giving that our best shot. We'll make sure he sees our draft and sees our teams and see if he'll put them out there the way we picked them. All right, let's move on to some other things that are on the website today. And man, I'm going to skip back to something from yesterday because, man, I got to tell you, this made a big impression on me, a big impression. And I've been a Ray Joseph fan ever since I watched him in high school, and I've seen all his highlight tapes and met him on multiple occasions and stuff. You guys have got to read the story off the interview that we did with Ray Joseph yesterday, and then watch the video that accompanies the story. It was just absolutely jaw-dropping. This kid has the greatest attitude in the world. He's so motivated. gets up at 5 in the morning every day and goes to the indoor practice facility to get some extra training in, tries to be a leader, tries to bring guys along with him, tries every chance he gets to get better at his craft. And Matt, I think this kid is going to be a superstar at Miami. He's got incredible speed, probably the fastest receiver on the team, and seems to be acclimating to college. When we've had a chance to watch practice, he's certainly looked the part of a guy that can be a game-breaking type guy here as soon as this year, even as a true freshman. How fired up were you about Ray Joseph after watching that interview?
I was not fired up at all. I was actually quite upset because, once again, you missed the bigger picture. Like, Ray is going to be great. I have no doubt about it. Works his butt off. Hardest, working guy you'll find. I mean, does everything right. Okay. A great guy. The troubling part of the interview was he's a true freshman. He comes in. There's nobody else saying, come in an hour before practice, do jugs. Every player on whatever position is can always do extra work. You only have 2 hours plus whatever. They have a allotted time for the NCAA rules where coaches can actually spend time with the players, and that's it, right? So players, if you want to be great, you have to do stuff on your own. And so there's nobody who says to Ray, hey, the team goes out 2 hours before practice every day in the spring to get an hour extra work. Nobody says that. He does it on his own, which is fantastic. But where's everyone else? So then now he's leading by example, right? Now he does it. Hey, Ray, did everyone follow you? Is everyone now doing what you're doing? Maybe 4 guys, maybe 5 guys. Once in a blue moon, a quarterback will show up and throw to me. Like, are you kidding me? That's what he said. Like, that's the interview. That's what he said. How does that not bother you?
Tell me one thing wrong with it.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding at all. I thought it was great.
You think it's great that there's only 4 kids on the team, sometimes 5, that show up 2 hours before practice to get extra work in?
I think he's trying to improve the culture, and he's trying to bring more along with him.
Why aren't they?
When you were 18 years old, did you like getting up at 5 in the morning?
You know what? If my coach said to the team, hey, we only get this much time with you. If you want to be great, we suggest you do this and that. We suggest you do what Cam Kinchins does. We suggest you talk to whoever. Like, they will tell you a great way to make yourself an NFL star. Like, I don't understand why that conversation hasn't happened, why coaches aren't telling players, every player, look what Ray Joseph's doing. Why aren't you guys doing it? And I guarantee you, if Mario said that to the team one day, the whole freaking team would be there 2 hours before practice. Apparently, Mario hasn't said it. Like, I don't understand it.
He hasn't said it.
Because if he did, they'd be there. Nobody's
using Ray as an example of the way to be if you want to be successful in a league.
Yeah. By conversely, the other people don't, apparently. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. You can defend the whole situation.
Well, they can't make them show up, for starters.
Correct, you cannot. But other teams do it. If you're at Alabama and 82 kids show up 2 hours before practice and you're one of the 3 kids that didn't, you think you have a great future to be a starter at Alabama? At Miami, the norm is not to do it. The norm at Miami is the guys who are doing it and putting in extra work, they're the outliers. Why aren't they sleeping in and getting their rest? What schmucks, Like, that's not a good attitude. Ray literally said this work is the culture. He said this work is the culture, and there's only 4 guys doing it. That's literally what he said, but it doesn't bother you. I don't understand.
Oh, man. I was all fired up.
Ray's great. The rest of the team needs to be Ray Armstrong and Cam Kinchins, and then we're going to be somewhere. Like, I don't care if you're not that good as a team or as a player. When you work like that, when that's your work ethic, and they pile on these recruiting classes that see, when this next recruiting class comes in, they're going to see the recruiting class in front of them going in 2 hours early for practice. They're going to see a culture that's been built. Right now, these freshmen are going in and creating a culture that doesn't even exist. Like, Mario comes in and he says, I'm going to build the culture. I'm going to build this. I'm going to build that. Well, it took a true freshman who just showed up on campus in January to develop his own culture. It's the Ray Joseph culture. Like, I don't understand. I didn't know that the whole team wasn't putting in extra work. Like, why? Why aren't they putting in extra work? Why is it just a few guys that followed him after even he started putting in the work? I would love to have some answers, from somebody who would actually tell the truth. Are these kids, are these young student athletes, people hate when I say kids, I'm just old. Are these young student athletes just not interested in doing work anymore, because maybe that is the way it is now. Maybe coaches feel like the players need their rest, nutrition,
You're
eat a
going
healthy breakfast.
on and on. I'm trying, I'm talking
You
about
talk.
something
You
positive.
talk. I'm
On and
aghast. It's because I'm aghast. Okay, I'm
Oh.
aghast, and that doesn't mean farting. Okay, Gary, you can look it up. Aghast does not mean farting.
So I'm sitting here talking about a true freshman who gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and makes it a point not to hit the snooze button on his alarm and gets his butt out of bed and out the room and over to the indoor practice facility and to work on the jugs gun, and hopefully somebody's feeding him footballs. And then he's bringing his teammates along, and now he's got quarterbacks coming and they're running routes and doing extra work at 5:30 in the morning. And I'm all fired up about it. And I'm trying to tell everybody about this great thing that is going on in the Miami football program. And you're going on and on and on about why it's negative.
Well, what you're doing is fake news. The team is out there following him. The quarterbacks, let me talk. The quarterbacks are all thrown to him. He said 4 or 5 guys are coming with him, and 1 quarterback will sometimes show up. That's what he said. You can phrase it however you want, but that's what he said was happening.
I mean, listen,
and that's what he said. What do you want me to tell you?
That is what he said. Okay. I still think it's a positive. And I like Ray Joseph. I think he's going to be a great football player.
I 1,000% agree. This is not about.
I think if Shannon Dawson is smart, he's going to use Ray a lot this coming season.
100%.
We'll see what happens there. All right. So several other stories that came out of after yesterday's practice. We got to speak to tight end Jackson Carver. He's put on 10 pounds since he arrived and is doing a great job of acclimating. We spoke to Francis Magoa, who, as a true freshman, 5-star, has already risen to first team right tackle, but the most humble of kids. I think you'll really enjoy that story and the video that goes with it. We had the chance to talk to Ruben Bain. Everybody's interested in Ruben Bain, how he's doing. He has been every bit what you would expect of a 270-pound 5-star defensive lineman. He's making that adjustment. We had a really cool interview with him. Make sure you check that out on the website. We spoke to Jaden Wayne, who's another true freshman defensive end, but he looks like a grown man and talks like a grown man. And I think you guys are going to really like that interview as well. Turning to recruiting, we like to have Azubi work as much as possible on these inside the lines features that he does with the kids, or the 100-yard walks, to bring you guys just a little insight into what makes these guys tick beyond just the fact, what they do on the football field. Well, we've got one that'll be on the website today with Chance Robinson that to me is maybe the best yet. And make sure in the afternoon, if you're a guy that like comes on the website in the morning and disappears for the rest of the day, make sure you come back tomorrow afternoon, because we're going to be rolling out this Chance Robinson inside the lines feature that Azubi Charles did. And I'm telling you, I've watched it. It is really, really good. You are going to absolutely love this Chance Robinson kid. So make sure that you check that out. Miami offered a 2024 4-star safety by the name of Kaj Sanders, who's made his first visit to Coral Gables and has very high interest in the Hurricanes. So make sure you guys check that story out. Miami is a new RPM frontrunner for 4-star linebacker Cam Pruitt. He made his second visit of the spring to Coral Gables, and we have a story on that as well. And last but not least, it's a bittersweet day in Coral Gables at the University of Miami at CaneSport headquarters. And the reason for that is that the Cavender twins have announced that they are not coming back to school. And Matt, I was a little surprised by that, to be honest. It seems to me like the greatest earning potential of these girls is as college athletes, but apparently I'm wrong. Apparently they are getting offers that are so attractive from other people. And a lot of people are speculating that those two girls are getting ready to go join the WWE and become wrestlers like the Bella sisters. But let me tell you something. These are petite, relatively petite, thin-boned girls. Like, I know they were good basketball players. Matt, I don't like the idea of the Cavender twins being thrown around in a wrestling ring at all. Me personally. Thoughts?
You do know wrestling's fake, right? Like,
yeah, they still get their butts thrown around.
They're not doing high school wrestling.
It might be choreographed, but they still get flipped and smashed. And these are like,
listen, you don't see this.
Big girls, like they're good basketball players, but not big girls. I mean, they can get hurt. They can really get hurt.
All right. Well, to me, it's a little bit strange, but you wouldn't see, for instance, a football player, leaving who was the number one scorer on, number one wide receiver leaving to join, the wrestling federation. But whatever, if
they both have a year of eligibility left, they could.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what their NIL situations were. They, the difference is they can still make the same amount of money whether they're at Miami or not. You can call it NIL, but it's just advertising money. So they're still making the same money. They just don't have to go to school or play basketball. It's not like
really what they're thinking.
Right. So it's not that they're going wrestling. Some student athletes, to make the money, they have to be athletes at a school. In this particular case, they're celebrities. So they're making the money whether they're playing basketball or not, whether they're enrolled at Miami or not. There's no real need monetarily for them to be at Miami at all. So I get it, whether they go wrestle or not. They literally will make the same or more money whether they're playing at Miami or whether they're not playing at Miami. They have that many followers on social media that companies are going to be super interested in them. They have personalities that go with it, and they're twins. I mean, everyone, the Doublemint twins, right? The whole thing. For the history of mankind, for some reason, people, whether they're male or female, they like twins, So, they had it on, what was it? Days of Our Lives. All those soap operas that my wife used to watch when she was younger. There was always an evil twin, and always an evil twin. People are obsessed with twins. So they're going to make a lot of money. Don't need to play basketball to make the money. Again, apparently they didn't love playing basketball, because if they loved it enough to play for free, that's what they would have been doing, which is what people used to do. Remember the old days, Gary, when people used to play sports for free or just for tuition? Remember those days? Yeah. 3 years ago, 2 years ago? It's crazy.
I always like twins too, but twins don't always get a fair shake. Like, a friend of mine breeds racehorses, and he owns a female horse that got pregnant, and they found that the horse had twins, and they took one of them out. Like, they didn't want her giving birth to two horses. They felt like it would infringe on the growth of the horses, and they want one big stud horse coming out of her. How long does it take horses to have babies? Is it 9 months like humans?
I'm not Googling the horse gestation period.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm kind of disappointed. I like twins. I kind of wanted to see his horse give birth to twins, but it is what it is. But these two twins think that they can do a lot better together outside of college basketball. On face value, I wonder how the heck can that be? But if they end up being pro wrestlers and it actually works, then they absolutely will make more money doing that. And I don't think you could be a pro wrestler and be a college basketball player. So if they have something planned along those lines, then it all makes sense. But we are going to miss the Cavender twins at the University of Miami. It gave us a reason to be interested in the women's basketball program, which did very, very well this year, and has now lost all its best players and is going to probably be a little challenged next year. All right, so we have the spring game coming up. We've got recruiting coverage, a little bit of the Cavender twins, a little bit of everything for you guys to sink your teeth into this morning. If you like this channel, like this show, hit your subscribe button, hit your like button. Helps us with the algorithms at YouTube. And more than anything, please subscribe to CaneSport.com, because your subscriptions allow us to do what we do every single day. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you once again for joining us. We'll see you next time, everybody.